Welcome back, guys. Feels good to be back to another episode of Down Under. I'm Sam.
One eternity later.
Yeah, it's been what you said, just a little over a month, right? Yeah, a little over a month since we last filmed. So I'm Sam.
I'm Hassan.
And we're gonna talk about the NBA playoffs today. Fun fact:
started.
Brooklyn is the only team to be swept so far, but Philadelphia is on the verge. That's kind of crazy to think.
So is Dallas.
Yeah, true. So is Dallas.
It is crazy to think. You have a team who honestly is not bad, but the Celtics were just way better. They were outmatched. I bet they would have won a game or two against any other team but the Celtics.
Well, and KD and Kyrie didn't play very well that whole series, I thought, either. I mean, KD had, 40 the last game, but other than that, the first three was...
they were averaging 20, but they can't play defense.
Well, but you expect more. I'm sorry, 20 is a good amount for a role player, but you expect more out of your star guys.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah. I was expecting a little bit more out of that series, but I think these next couple, especially this second round, we're going to see some better basketball being played, I think.
So we're in the middle of the second round right now, so we'll recap what happened already.
Yep.
And then we'll go and we'll predict what we think is going to happen.
That works.
So
we'll start off Western Conference.
You know what? We'll go one by one. I'll do Western, you do Eastern.
Okay, that's
starting on the top.
All right.
I'll start. So it was the 1 seed Phoenix Suns, 8 seed Pelicans. Pelicans they looked real. They were not the same team who started off 1-12.
Yeah.
Phoenix won 4-2, even with Booker out, pretty much the entire series.
Yeah, I think. Do we want me to just go to the right side?
Yeah, unless you have anything else to add.
I was just gonna say, I think that, that Pelicans team's got a very bright future, because even with Zion out, I think that series. Now, granted, I think Phoenix still would have won. But if Zion was playing, it still would have been. I think it would have been a different story. I think that might have gone 7. To be completely honest with you, hell, it went 6 without him. So, I think Pelicans have a very bright future. CJ is only going to continue to get older, but he's still proven that he's a very good player.
He was a good acquisition for them.
That Jose Alvarado was giving issues to Chris Paul.
Little pest.
Pat Bev, version 2.
Wannabe Pat Bev.
Yeah. But anyway, let's go over to the 1-8 and the Eastern Conference. 1 seed Miami, 8 seed Atlanta. Now, I didn't follow this one very often, very close, but I think that Miami looked pretty damn good.
Atlanta did not stand a chance.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of us probably figured that. Atlanta just, it's Trae Young, and I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Like John Collins, I really didn't hear much about John Collins at all.
Because he didn't do nothing.
I don't even know who else they have. Do they have? Who else do they have? DeAndre Huter, or not Hunter. Did he do anything? Did Huter do anything? So I was going to say it's really Trae Young, and that's about it. And Miami is a very, very solid team, and
defense-wise, insanely good.
Yeah, and Jimmy Buckets was given. Actually, I think he was out for one of the games they won.
They benched him to rest.
Yeah. Which goes to show that this was...
They knew.
Yeah, that goes serious. So Miami wins it 4-1.
And Miami's they have an insanely deep bench.
Yeah, and they've developed a decent amount of guys too. So they have Strauss, they have Robinson, they have Hero, they have Kyle Lowry, they have Buckets, they have Bam Adebayo. I think that team is probably one of the more well-rounded teams, the Suns included, in the NBA right now as far as depth goes.
I think the only teams left right now that's super well-rounded has to be the Suns, Warriors, and Heat.
Yeah.
I would say Boston, but they do have their struggles. If Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum don't perform well, they won't win.
You could say this. You could say Milwaukee's pretty deep though too.
No, because
I know it's top-heavy with Giannis.
No, it is just if Giannis.
But Middleton was out the whole time, and they played really well against Chicago.
Because Giannis dropped 40. If
I
Giannis
get that,
doesn't
but
drop
look at
20
Grayson
or more,
Allen. Grayson Allen dropped 30 and 20.
Yeah, and then he didn't do anything. Giannis didn't do anything, and they had nothing.
I think that Milwaukee. I think Grayson Allen was huge in that whole Bulls series.
My thought process is if I'm not giving it to Boston, I can't give it to Milwaukee.
Yeah, I can see it.
Philly, they're just a mess. We'll talk about them when we get to them.
Yeah, well, injuries are killing them. All right, Hassan, let's go back over to the Western Conference 4-5 game, Dallas-Utah.
Dallas-Utah, I thought that was probably the most even matchup. I mean, it is the 4 and 5 seed. It was super good. Utah, their main problem is just chemistry. They have no chemistry. The talent is there. They were just the 1 seed by no doubt last year. And it's the chemistry that really lost them a game. And, of course, you're facing Luka Doncic, and Brunson went off, and you have that big dude who just shoots threes like it's nobody's business.
Yeah. Max Kleber.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things that this is like a prime example of why you need chemistry on a team. Wow, this is why the Warriors have been so good for so long.
I was going to say you have a strong core, but Utah's got the exact opposite of a strong core, and I think it's showing even after the playoffs. We've seen a lot of comments about Rudy Gobert wanting out, how he doesn't want to play with Donovan, how Donovan's too one-dimensional, can't play defense. Now, I don't know if those were true statements, but
I told you there's no chemistry.
It's Dallas. Dallas has got their work cut out from in round 2, which we'll get to. All right, let's hop over to 4-5, Philly, Toronto. When I was talking to Son about this series, I really wanted Toronto to push this series to 7. I thought it was going to be a really interesting series if they did so, but they unfortunately didn't. Philadelphia wins the series 4-2. Philly's been through a lot this year, obviously with Simmons, and now they get Harden, and Harden hasn't really looked the same, I think, really all year.
He hasn't dropped a 30-point game this year,
which is unheard of for him.
He's fallen off,
and I think part of that could be kind of the new rules they have with the when it comes to 3-point shooting and sticking your feet out and trying to draw fouls.
Here's my thing. My thing is when you're that late in your career. And by late, like, you have a team in Houston who the whole team is built around you, and you wanted more, right? When you're that late in your career and you're forcing your way out, you will never be the same.
Yeah.
I can see if you leave on free agency, that's something different. But when you're forcing your way out, I just really feel like that's a stigma that was like you're not going to be the same. Like Curry right now in the offseason, I want out and get shipped to, I don't know, the Spurs, right?
Yeah.
Pretty good team. He won't be the same Curry.
No. Yeah, I agree with that. And Toronto, I thought, looked pretty good.
Scotty Barnes is special.
He is special, and it kind of sucked with Fred VanVleet being hurt. I mean, I think he was hurt before the series started, had a lingering pain, and then ended up had a hip issue, and then I don't know if you can probably play this during the podcast and put this down there, but Fred VanVleet actually tore his jersey apart leaving the game in the first quarter, which those jerseys are not easy to tear apart. So here's the show.
We'll watch it. They're watching it right
now. So yeah, there you go.
Let's just stare at it.
With what went on,
wow, crazy, pretty cool. Yeah, Fred VanVleet tearing his jersey apart right there. But yeah, I was really hoping Toronto would push this to 7, but unfortunately they couldn't get it done. And Philadelphia is limping their way into round 2 against Miami, and as of right now, it's not going well for them. All right, so let's hop back over to the 3-6 game in the Western Conference. We have Golden State and Denver.
Denver, man. If they had Jamal Murray, it would be a different game. But if they had Jamal Murray, it still wouldn't be enough to pass Golden State. It's the first time we're seeing a fully healthy Golden State team since they were on that 5-year finals run.
And they're technically not fully healthy.
Yeah, technically
they're still missing Wiseman.
They're not. This is not even my final form.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Golden State, it's Golden State. You have Jordan Poole coming up all of a sudden. I mean, that's what you get. You draft somebody who can shoot, and you make him sit behind Clay and Curry and the mind of Draymond and Steve Kerr as your coach. Dude, you're going to be awesome.
Yep.
Put some respect, obviously. I forget, Mark, was it? No. Who was the coach before Kerr? Black coach. Mark Jackson?
I'm not sure.
Mark Jackson.
I'm not sure.
He set up the team, and Kerr took it away. But this Golden State team is definitely it's going to be Golden State or Phoenix in the finals.
Yeah.
So, and it's pretty clear they're going to get past Memphis. Nobody likes Ja, but
except if you're from Memphis.
They won 4-1 against Jokic. Jokic can do only so much.
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon needs to step up.
Kind of feel for that dude, though. Jokic.
I like Jokic.
I do too. And he plays with he's not your typical. I mean, he's kind of more a finesse big man. Like, he does a lot of layups. He's not. I mean, he can still shoot. He passes the ball really well. He'll just finesse you in really any way he possibly can. And like you said, it's just not going to be enough to pass the group called PTSD. So that's going to be a scary. I mean, that is going to be scary for the next, I'd say, 2-3 years. Well, as long as we still have Curry and Clay playing well, but Clay hasn't looked the same.
Clay doesn't look the same, but at the same time, he doesn't have the same role he did.
Yeah.
It's more of a pass the ball now.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
All right, so we're flipping back over to the Eastern Conference, 3-6, Milwaukee, Chicago.
I'm surprised Chicago even won.
I was really hoping Chicago looked better in this series, but they didn't. I mean, they just looked flat. They looked just terrible from the start.
And I really don't think a Caruso and Lonzo injury would have done them anything.
No, you still have DeMar, you still have Zach LaVine, you still have Vucevic.
That was just unexcusable.
And they get steamrolled by Milwaukee, and Milwaukee goes to show why. I mean, Milwaukee came in there saying, hey, you know what, we're the defending champs. We got something to prove still, and we're going to go try to do it again. And that's exactly what they did. They steamrolled through Chicago, and Grayson Allen was really the story of the series. He played really, really well. He had, I think, 3 20-plus point games. And, of course, Giannis played how Giannis always plays, dropping probably –
yeah, just Euro, bucket, Euro. But that's literally his game plan.
Foul, bucket.
Foul, occasional 3.
Yeah. So, Milwaukee steamrolls 4-1, goes to play in the second round, and like I said, the Bucks have something to prove. They really want to they really want to repeat, and I think they've got the pieces there too. But we'll see in this next round when they play Boston.
I really think it'll be a Game 7, Boston, but we'll get into it when we get there.
Yeah. All right, let's flip back over.
I'll let you take the
Western Conference.
I'll let you.
Number 2 Memphis, number 7 Minnesota.
You want me to go grab the tissue box?
Yes. I'm a big Minnesota Timberwolves fan, and this is rough to talk about, and it was really rough to watch.
3 straight 10-point lead games late in the game.
You know, it's don't get me wrong. Minnesota's got a very, very talented team. What they've built there is pretty impressive. Anthony Edwards obviously being, I'd say, the star. You got D'Angelo Russell, who's actually playing pretty well for D'Lo. You got Karl-Anthony Towns, of course, and then Pat Bev really changed the culture in Minnesota this year. He changed that whole team around, and I had no respect for Pat Bev before, but as soon as he comes on your team and changes the culture like that and brings the 7-seed team that really I didn't think was going to make the playoffs this year into the playoffs and takes Memphis, number 2 seed, to 6 games in a series they probably should have won. That's impressive, but Memphis goes on and wins 4-2. Like Hassan said, Minnesota blows 3 10-plus point leads. They blew they got outscored 50-something to 19 in game, 3, 4? So it's disappointing when it's right there at your fingertips and you can't close it out. But yeah, Memphis goes to move on and play Golden State, which I think is going to be probably the series, the playoffs, I think. I mean, just with the maybe Golden State, Memphis, or Milwaukee, Boston, but I think those. I mean, I guess you can make the argument for whoever plays in the Western Conference next.
It's going to be the 3 and 2 seeds on each side.
Yeah.
One of those seeds will make it to the finals. Yeah. I think Miami drops. If they play Boston, they'll lose to Boston.
Yeah.
But I mean, with that, we'll stay on this side. We'll talk about the 1-4 matchup in the West. Phoenix and Dallas. Phoenix is up 2-0 right now. Booker and Chris Paul went insane last night while I was at a concert, so good job, boys. Yeah, I mean, Luka can't do everything. We're locking Brunson up. Booker's locking Luka up.
Yeah. Didn't Luka still drop 40 last night?
Luka dropped 40 game 1, and we still won.
What did he drop last night?
I don't know. I didn't look.
I want to say he dropped a lot last night, too. I think he's had 2 40-plus point games. That's the thing with Dallas is they need Brunson to step up. He stepped up huge in the series against Utah and took over when Luka was out. You need that Brunson back, and if they don't get that Brunson, they're not going to have a chance against the Suns. So, I think And I think Kleber does a good job with his role. They have a lot of good role players in Dallas, but it's going to be hard getting past Phoenix. And I think Phoenix is my pick to make it out of the West, really.
Yeah.
Even with all the hype around Golden State and Memphis.
I'm scared to play Golden State, but at the same time, I don't want to play Memphis because playing Memphis, I can see Booker coming out with the torn ACL. They just play violent.
Yeah.
Not even playing. They just play violent.
Yeah. All right, well, let's just stick with the Western Conference, actually, and then we can go East. All right, 2-3 matchup. Well, Golden State I don't think Golden State's looked very good the first two games of the series. I really don't. I think they won the first game by 1. It was 117-116.
Yeah.
And, they skimmed past Memphis, and then Clay and Curry in game 2 combined I think they shot 16 for 44 combined.
Yep.
Ja drops 47, and Memphis only wins by 5. If that goes to show anything, that goes to show the strength of this Golden State team. That you can only beat them by 5, and I think that's the concern. And I think Charles and Shaq was talking about it. That's the concern for Memphis right now is you got to learn how to put teams like that away.
Yeah.
And
if you can't put them away when they're not playing good,
Ja, you have something going for you, buddy, because talking crap to Curry after game 2 is not going to pan out well.
Oh, wow.
My projection is Clay and Curry are probably going to combine for 70 or 80 next game. Game 3. You can book it. Take it to the bank. And I bet you Curry drops 40+.
Yeah, especially Ja has been disrespecting the veterans of Iguodala on Twitter way before. I used to like Ja. He's a young guy. But after watching this year's playoffs, I'd be tweeting it out too. He's just not fun to watch. He's just violent, aggressive, and on cloud 9.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say him so much. It's more of his team that's violent and aggressive.
Yeah,
I would say with him, it's like, and you and I talked about how the NBA has changed. Like, Karl-Anthony Towns was kissing goodbyes after blowing 3 to the home team fans. You just don't do that. You walk off the court. And then you got Ja dancing on the logo of Minnesota.
On a 7 seed that you should have swept.
On a 7 seed you should have swept.
Yeah.
And then, that puts a bad taste in the Warriors' veterans' mouth, who's been here multiple times, have won 3 championships as a group. And I think that I would agree with you. Ja's different, that's for sure.
I don't like him.
But I think it's going to – Memphis' aggressiveness in Game 2 is going to end up, I would say not even aggressiveness, dirty play is going to come back and bite them in the ass. And this Warriors team is eventually going to put them away, and you'll see the Warriors walking into the Western Conference Finals against the Phoenix Suns.
I agree with that. Let's just go who we think is going to the finals.
I
the
think
Western side. I got Suns in 7. And that's not because I'm a biased Suns fan. It's because we're defensively we'll be fine.
It's going to depend on if Booker stays healthy.
Yeah, Booker stays healthy.
Booker does not stay healthy, the Warriors will put him away, and they'll figure out how to put him away. Chris Paul is going to have to carry that team, and I don't think Chris Paul alone is going to be able to keep up with all the shooting that.
That's why we need you, Shamit.
But if Booker stays healthy, I've got Suns in 7 as well.
I got Suns in 7.
All right, let's go Eastern Conference 1-4 matchup. Miami,
it's going to be
Philadelphia.
a sweep, man. I'm sorry.
This is going to be a sweep.
It's going to be a sweep. Nothing more, nothing less.
Unless Philadelphia and James Harden figures out a way to drop. If James figures out a way to drop 45, then they'll take a game. But even
somebody
after that,
just get the tissue box for when they win Game 4 for Joel Embiid ready.
Joel's been dealing with injuries. They've already stated that he's got to have surgery after the postseason, which sucks because Joel I like really. I don't mind him. He's a great player and. He's fun to watch, and he's dealing with some injuries. He's got an orbital bone fracture in his.
He got elbowed in the eye.
He's got an orbital bone fracture, and he's got torn ligaments in his thumb that he's got to have surgery on. So that's just not good. He's also got a concussion, I believe, too. And this Miami team is. If Harden doesn't step up, this Miami team is going to steamroll him. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Miami is going to walk their way into the Eastern Conference Finals, and then. I think really, besides the Memphis Golden State, this is the matchup of the postseason right here. Number 2, Boston, 3, Milwaukee. Milwaukee steamrolled Boston Game 1. Boston steamrolls Milwaukee Game 2.
Yeah,
Game 3, 4, 5, 6, and
difference.
7, you're going to see a lot even keel.
Yeah.
These teams are eventually going to start figuring each other out. And Giannis, I mark my word, Giannis will not have another game like he did Game 2. He'll figure out a way.
He'll figure out a way. I think Boston will win this in 7. It will be enjoyable, but at the same time, Game 7 could be a 1-point game.
I think
that's how close I think this matchup is.
It's going to all depend on if Jalen. I mean, because if Jalen Brown or Jason Tatum, I mean, this could if Jalen's off or Jason's off by just a little bit, then Milwaukee will win us. And I think that's eventually
Jalen cannot have the game he did Game 1.
No, and I think that's going to happen. I think Milwaukee's going to take it. I mean, they've got a lot to prove still, and I think they played really well against Chicago. And I don't know when Middleton's going to be back.
He's out for this series, but there's a chance for him to come.
But I think if Milwaukee gets through this series and then goes to play Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals with Middleton back, that's going to be dangerous, and I can see them walking back, and we could see a rematch in the NBA championship. It's something Hassan's wanting along for the full year.
I like Giannis, but once you see him play your own team like that,
terrorize your team.
No, not even. Just get every whistle called in the books. Euro layup. Euro layup.
He's a good player.
Then you'll realize how much he just makes you mad.
I think that's a matchup that I want to see in the conference not the conference finals, in the finals is Phoenix Milwaukee rematch.
I would not mind to see a Warriors in the finals too.
Yeah.
Just because we grew up. When we grew up in our prime years, middle school and high school, that's all we saw, Warriors.
Warriors.
It's just something to live on because we probably won't see that again.
Yeah. I would also like to see CP3 get his first ring.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously, as a Suns fan, Suns first, and I would be mad if we lose to the Warriors, but I would like to see Curry go get another one.
Yeah. So we still got a lot of jam-packed basketball to come. I think we can see potentially 2 of these series going into Game 7. And then, I think both conference finals has an opportunity to go into 7 games as well. So, yeah, it's going to be fun to watch, and I think that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is our playoff update so far. We'll probably reference this vid when playoffs is over, and I'll either be super sad or I'll be super happy. No in between.
Yep. All right, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Peace out.